Hey guys, I'm Brian, back in my shop. I'm going to share a tool tip with you here today. And if you clicked on this video, I'll bet you're wondering what this is. So this is a jewelry ring clamp. Now don't let that put you off. Its intended purpose, or it's sold as a jewelry tool. However, it's actually very useful in most shop applications if you're working with small parts. Okay. Some of the great features about this are, well, one, it's inexpensive. I'd say the going rate for these, last time I bought one, is about $8. I actually purchased this from a jewelry supply in a tool wholesaler called Rio Grande, probably about 15 years ago. That was when I started a hobby of making jewelry, and I was into that pretty heavy for about 5 years or so. Now, I don't really make jewelry much anymore, other than a little maintenance here and there, but I find I use this thing a lot in my shop. It is really perfect for things that need to be held securely, keep your fingers safe, say, out of the way of a spinning disc sander. It's actually great when you're doing detail work. Let's say you want to use a flex shaft or a little Dremel tool to do any shaping or carving. It's also great when you're at a buffing station, if you have a small part you need to polish. A really cool feature about this, you see, let's talk about how it operates. One, it's pretty simple. You put your piece in your jaws, and they are leather lined, which protects anything from any marring. You know, if you try and hold a ring in a pair of locking pliers, you'll quickly find out that you're doing more damage than you are cleaning something up. But it has two different jaws, both ends. This is rounded on this side, and this side is like a flatter jaw. So, you know, you pretty much pick whichever side you want to use and put it in there, take your little wedge that they supply, give it a tap, and then that's held pretty secure. Something I really like about this tool is that it has a very ergonomic, comfortable grip. And that's either, you know, this one or this one. They're relatively the same. There's a minor difference I'll discuss in a second. But it's shaped very nice and smooth and round. This one actually is painted and is probably a touch higher quality than this one I got off Amazon. But it's like a mini hand vise. You know, you can hold this. It's comfortable. It doesn't have any sharp edges while you're doing some detail work, whether you're filing something or, you know, cutting it with a cutoff wheel. You can get a nice grip on it. You may find there's some times where you don't want to hold this in your hand while you're working on a piece. Whether you need both hands free or whether you just can't get quite the control holding the tool in this hand and the ring clamp in this hand. So a nice thing you can do is you can actually clamp this into a vise that has soft jaws. Also, what's cool about this one that I got off Amazon a while back was that it's used in conjunction with what's called a jeweler's bench anvil, which clamps onto the edge of your table. And usually this is a pair. You also get something called a bench pin. And they make different types of bench pins, whether you're using a jeweler's saw or you know, hammering on some metal. But this clamps into your anvil, and then you can take your part, whatever you're working on, and you can clamp it in here, and you can put this down in here, give it a twist, and it'll kind of lock it in. Now, you pretty much have to keep your hand on it still, but it actually holds the piece, you know, it gives you a firmer, it's more stable. So if you have to file on it, drill a hole, sand it, whatever you got to do. That's a really nice feature. You know, again, if you don't have this bench pin and you don't want to make one, you can just put this in a vise with some soft jaws, and it'll do just the same thing. Okay, are there any limitations to this? Well, a couple. One, I mean, you're limited in the depth of what this can grip in the jaws, you know, with the wedge that they give you. With the supplied wedge, you can probably only clamp something about 3/8 of an inch thick. However, I've also used a small, skinnier wedge, like a wood shim, that, you know, you can clamp something up to 1/2 of an inch wide. So that might be a limitation. Does this hold something as securely, say maybe as locking pliers? Because it has leather jaws, probably not. Working with small parts, jewelry, tiny little metal parts you gotta make that you just can't hold any other way. Keep your fingers out of harm's way. You know, for the expense of it, it's a pretty cheap tool. So this is one impressive little gadget to have handy in your toolbox. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope I explained this good enough for you. And if you have any experience with this, I'd like to hear about it in the comments below. See you later. Thanks for watching.